Last week, the State Department announced that former Fox News reporter Lea Gabrielle will lead the agency in charge of counterpropaganda efforts. Before working at the cable network, she served in the U.S. Navy as a fighter pilot and later as an intelligence officer. She is one of several Fox News employees to join the Trump administration. Former anchor Heather Nauert is now a spokesperson for the State Department, and former Executive Bill Shine is communications director. Additionally, National Security Advisor John Bolton and White House Strategic Communications Director Mercedes Schlapp were both paid contributors who regularly appeared on Fox. Joining me now is Bruen, who worked on counter-propaganda efforts in the Obama administration. Brett, thanks so much for joining us. Do you think that Lea Gabrielle was the right person for this job?
Unfortunately, I don't. She's certainly a very qualified fighter pilot, someone who worked in junior positions in the intelligence community and obviously has been quite accomplished as a reporter. But none of those prepare you for what is a modern, sophisticated, and quite frankly, very well-trained adversary in the form of Russian propaganda. I have to say, there is a small group of people who have the required experience that the Trump administration could have chosen, and she was not among them.
So to help some of our viewers better understand your perspective, explain specifically what the U.S. government does to counter foreign propaganda.
So when I was in the White House back in 2013, 2014, we saw Russia roll out this new weapon of war in the form of not only bots and their own content, but they were able to use access to information they stole from emails, phone calls, and to weaponize it. And we actually stood up a pretty successful first effort when they were throwing everything in the kitchen sink at the Ukrainian elections. Unfortunately, the Obama administration didn't continue to build on those efforts, and it's something that I've been critical of, even going back to my days on the National Security Council.
So how much of this is combating incoming messages, and how much is preparing counter-propaganda to export around the world?
So there are three things that are required in this job. The first is tracking. We need better capabilities across companies, across countries, what's happening in the information warfare space, and we don't have any eyes on that right now. The second is a defensive capability, the chance for a congressional campaign, for a company that's been targeted to reach out and to work with a government entity on their preparedness and their response. The last piece is an offensive capability, and this is where I think we really need more work and emphasis to tell Moscow, to tell Tehran, we will respond. If you choose to come at us with these information weapons, we have the capability to also respond in kind.
Well, you mentioned that you worked specifically on countering Russian propaganda. Are you surprised at how adept the Russians have been in pushing misinformation in recent years?
Not only how adept they are, I'm not sure that we have discovered yet the depth to which they have penetrated our discourse, our democracy. Only as a result of the Mueller investigation are a lot of these tactics starting to come out years after they were used. And one point that I made back in November, the Russians, others have advanced substantially from 2016, and we haven't even begun to detect where they are right now.
All right, former White House Director of Global Engagement, Bruen. Thanks very much, Brett, for your time.
Absolutely.